it almost feels like I'm doing a duty when I eat Mississippi-raised products, Mississippi-made products. That's one of the reasons I like Andy Gipson so much. I mean, that guy is tried and true Mississippi. And he's got his whole Made in Mississippi campaign. And I think one day, and it may be 4 years, it may be 8, I think Andy Gipson's going to be the governor of the state if he chooses to. I would love for him to stay AG Commissioner. I would. But if he chooses to be governor, I think he'll get it. I was speaking to a statewide politician last night a little bit via text message. And he said this before I did. And I've been thinking, I had typed out a tweet yesterday, or an X. I hate that. Tweet, X, gosh dang it. A post on X. And I didn't hit send because I just couldn't articulate what I was trying to say. But I have not seen a single piece of legislation that's come out in the public realm, come out of the Capitol, that I didn't think was trash this year. I am completely 100% disenchanted with what's going on down there at the Capitol. They're trying to screw with Andy's budget. I mean, you got something that's working. Let it work. Don't break what ain't broken. That's a big problem with this legislators. It's not a word I'm good with. Meeting every year is they feel obligated to do stuff. And more times than not, it does not benefit us in any way, form, or fashion. Anyway, it's just trash. I mean, why mess with Andy's budget? Why mess with Andy's sponsorship? I think he's done enough that when that dude walks in there and says, I need ... you give him ... Let him keep doing his dope boy magic down there at the fairgrounds and with agriculture and at the Ag Museum, and leave what's not broken alone. I don't care what personal beefs they have with him in the Senate, because that's clearly what this is. It's some personal beef with Andy in the Senate. They just want to keep messing with him. Let it go. Let it go. And behave when you're in the back room of legendary restaurants. Allegedly. Let's read some of your texts on the Guns and Gear text line. You guys are lighting it up this morning. 769-241-1944. Joe says, Americans have the control to make a difference. It's our responsibility, because unfortunately you can't depend on our politicians to control the imported items or services. Take the time to read the labels on everything you purchase, food, etc. You can't totally avoid imported goods, but at least try to keep NATO. Oh, yeah. And we got a China problem. We 100% have a China problem. And I try not to buy that China crap. And I know that I sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth when I talk about this TikTok and China and some of these things I talk about here. Both things can be right at the same time. We can need TikTok to divorce themselves from China. That can be true. But we can also say it's hypocritical to make them do it because you're not making these other companies do it. And you allow the California communists to control all of big tech. And they control with a much stronger iron fist than I believe China does. Both things can be right. And I can call you hypocrites for only addressing half the problem. Let's see here. A lot of texts come in this morning. Thank you guys so much for listening this morning. We're going to call this unknown texter because it's showing up as their business name, and I don't want to read people's business names on the air when they're attached to political opinions. My Google Drive, not Google Drive, my Google Voice number works like that. It's like it connects to your Google. No, like if you have your work number, if you use a cell phone as your work, and you have that attached to your Google account, that's how it shows up since it's a friggin' Google. Anyway, this person says, when Michael Guest was DA, he started a business to loan money to the people that he had prosecuted so they could pay off their court fees and fines. That stinks to the high heavens. Yeah, I knew he had some kind of business out there. I was thinking it was like the ankle monitors or something like that. Or maybe it's multiple things. Yeah, my personal opinion is that the prosecutor shouldn't be involved in profiting in any form or fashion off the people he just prosecuted. What? That's even legal? That sounds like something Chinese communists would do. Unknown texter on the Guns and Gear text line. Mississippi state legislators doing body shots and giving voters a pan of empty biscuits. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I've had people come out and call me and Sean liars on that body shot story. I don't know why that's remotely hard to believe. And then you just throw in the mix that the way they reacted when it came out, when we never mentioned who, what, when, or where. And they all narrowed it down immediately to a specific night they were all at this alleged place. A specific waitress that it didn't happen with. And a couple different versions of the denial. Half of them outright denied it. The other half told a different version of the story. Again, for an event that we never said who, what, when, or where. These are the people, this is what they think of us. They think we're stupid. Some of them are starting to get called out. Some people are starting to figure out who some of these guys are because this story is going statewide. And some content creators that follow politics are starting to publicly call these guys out. They're like, oh, that sounds just like something my representative would do. And just so happens that is the area that I heard some of these guys were from. Checks out. Not ready to confirm yet, though. Unknown texture. Andy is in the green with his funds, and they want his money. Agreed. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back.